Go over zooming, panning, and rotating your Revit 3D model. So to begin, I'm going to open up a Revit sample project right here. I'm going to click it, and it's going to load onto screen. And then I'm going to bring up the 3D view of this Revit project. So there's two different ways I can do that. I can click the little house icon up here, which will take me to the default 3D view for this Revit project. Or in my project browser, I can navigate down to where it says 3D views and select one of the views from there. I'm going to just use the house icon because I find that a little bit easier. And it's going to open up the 3D view surrounded in these brackets, which can be found in the project browser, and you'll notice it also highlights in bold, signifying that that's the view that I'm currently in. So really easy to zoom in and out. You just scroll in and out of your mouse wheel. If you're on a Mac, that's going to be inversed, so that's going to be the opposite, kind of like a standard zooming is on the Mac. To pan, you simply hold down the middle mouse button and drag your mouse around, and that will pan your current view. And last but certainly not least, to rotate, you hold down the Shift key in addition to the middle mouse button and drag your mouse to rotate the view. A couple different view options that you have. If you right click, you can select zoom to fit, which will ensure everything on screen fits to your current zoom. And then you also, in the right click menu, have a zoom to a region where you draw a rectangle and then it zooms to that rectangle that you've drawn. And last but certainly not least, you have the zoom out option, which just zooms out 2 times, but I find it easier to use the mouse wheel, but to each their own. Another view element that Revit has is what they call the view cube, which is shown up here in the top right of your current view. And this only appears in 3D views, not 2D plans or sheets. So for instance, if I hop to the sheet, I can still pan, I can still zoom in and out. I can't rotate because it's a 2D sheet or view. But in 3D, I get the option to rotate it as well as displaying this view cube. The view cube, you can see each side is labeled left, front, top, etc. And by selecting a face or a corner, it's going to move the camera to be looking at that. So for instance, I selected front and the camera's looking at the front of the model. I could select the corner and it would jump to that corner view. And of course you have the north, south, west, east, etc. to jump to. So that's a brief overview of the zoom. Your book goes into more detail about all the different options you have. It goes over this little view bar right here and all these different sub options, but that's a brief overview of how to view, rotate, and pan in a 3D model and zoom in and out and pan in a 2D sheet or view.